Good day and welcome to a brand new episode of T-sHz sucks at Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is the lead up to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth expansion, coming out just before Halloween, October the 30th, to be a bit more precise. Now in this video you'll notice that the quality has been improved. It now actually feels more like a 60 frames per second video as opposed to the 30 frames per second disguised as a 60 frames per second 720p video. And on top of that I made a couple of adjustments, changed the color curve settings on Sony Vegas, as well as added a bit of the sharpen plugin just to make things a bit, well, sharper of course. And on top of that, well, not much else really, just the same old videos just with better frame rate really. And I hope that it's noticeably better. Now in this video I'm playing as Azazel, the one and only scapegoat, or the one who takes the blame. The character I can relate to, and a lot of you can relate to, because you know, we take the blame every now and then, and that's probably why I like him, not just because he's a good character to use. The only flaws being that he has 3 black hearts as opposed to any red hearts whatsoever. So we quickly go to the Widow, a predictable boss fight and really easy with the Azazel if you get up close, as you can see here. Now get a bit of red meat, which is good, since red meat is good for you, especially for male. Not saying that women don't have red meat, of course red meat is for both genders. I'm just saying that when you think of red meat, you probably lean towards the manly male demographic, you know, the alpha males like, oh, let's go and have a few points and have some red meat. So I believe that's heart, which gives me some extra HP, which is very handy if I'm going to survive with this cool guy. Now I know what else is cool. News has it that NASA has discovered that Mars has sort of these streams of water, liquid water, on the surface of the planet. Now this is very exciting because for many years we just assumed that we were the only life forms in our solar system. But with this sort of evidence of, you know, anything other than just, you know, sort of rocky sort of landmass that covers the planet of Mars, maybe this is a sign that perhaps, you know, other life other than us can exist, not just on Earth but on other planets, you know, which is exciting stuff, you know, like all those B movies like Mars Attacks and Independence Day and E.T. You know, all those alien films where it's like all these humanoid creatures and stuff. Lust is really easy if you just, especially with Azazel, if you just hide in one of the rocks and just sort of like wail away at him when he's up close. So like I was saying, Mars now has signs of, you know, sort of a liquid water on the planet. Now, the weird thing, well, it's not weird, but understandable but still kind of questionable is, back in, I was looking at it online, apparently there was this pact in 1967, sort of a treaty if you will, where, you know, they decided that, you know, it would be wrong if, you know, anything from Earth interacts with any liquid substance on any other planet because, you know, it could contaminate it and sort of ruin the whole entire experiment and the point of going to Mars, to see what it's like there and if there's any like microorganisms there. And that was one of the news stories I learnt a while ago when I was a kid. It probably isn't fact anymore, but back then it was, is that on Mars, there wouldn't be any like anthropomorphic creatures like, you know, on ET or Mars Attacks. It would more likely be like sort of like microorganisms, tiny little sort of creatures about the size of, you know, well, sort of like nano creatures, if you will, as opposed to, you know, like those sort of aliens you see on South Park. And yes, I do like my animated comedies. Yep, as you can probably see from this video, quite a bit of sort of editing here. By editing I mean poor editing, where I just sort of crop the clips. So when I move up, I just crop to the next clip where I move up, giving the illusion that I'm just skipping rooms, but in fact I'm just sort of cropping it to give that illusion. You probably could tell that anyway, but just thought I'd let you know. Just in case you thought, what the hell's going on? How did he manage to jump that far ahead without having to go past the rooms he's already been through? Well, that's because I edited it. If you could call it editing, which isn't really. So, bum move, warp straight to the shop I've already been in. So kind of pointless. Got a key, because I have a lack of them, and to see what's inside there, which is magic fingers. Meh. Not great, because I only have one coin at the moment. And I don't think in this run I get many coins, so it's practically worthless at this time and probably in the future. Like I said, most of these videos have been recorded way before, like many months ago, so yeah, my knowledge of how it went is a bit vague, and I've only watched it a couple of times before this commentary. So I get Dark Bum, despite the fact I don't have 3 soul hearts, but it'll totally be worth it in the long run. As you probably heard in my previous videos, I love this guy. He's probably my favourite item in the game, or at least in the top 5. He's just so handy and so useful. I heard he got, like I said in the previous video, I heard he got nerfed, but hopefully not by too much. So back to the Mars planet thing, do you think that this whole treaty was a good idea? Do you think we should sort of go further into the planet's liquid water? Or do you think we should just keep to the treaty and just sort of, you know, like just leave it alone for a while and find some sort of other way of discovering what's going on, how it got there and such? I don't really care enough to give my opinion, but all I'll say is this: it's interesting and shows some potential and possibility, so we'll see how it goes really, see what NASA does next, and you know, the governments and such, whatever. Yeah, I'm not into politics, as you can probably tell. Next time, whatever.